What's going on, guys? Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. Anyhow, let's get started today. A lot of big news that's happening around the globe. Um, some of these things are very provoking, crossing some lines, and we keep inching towards World War III almost week by week. And it's just a matter of time when it's going to pop off. Okay. So I'm not sure if you guys heard about this or not, but Vladimir Putin said today that Ukraine's biggest ever drone strike actually went to Moscow to attempt to scare and provoke Russia. And when he means provoke, he means to do something very serious. But 8 drones targeted civilian areas. So we have the images here. This is a residential building that Ukraine sent drones to strike. Okay. They were shot down or diverted with special electronic jammers that the Russians have. And Putin said that they've chosen a path to, and I quote, intimidate Russian citizens, and attack residential buildings. This is clearly a sign of terrorist activity. But they have very strong air defense systems in Moscow because that is their nuclear capital. Uh, they have their most nuclear power there, and it's I guess the world's biggest nuclear, because they have the most nuclear weapons. So that's probably the place with the most nuclear weapons on the globe. So it had a lot of early warning systems, weapon systems to protect these nuclear devices. And show you a map here. But Ukraine said that they denied that they had anything involved with the Moscow attack, and they said that, but they did enjoy watching the attack, right? They enjoyed watching what happened to this residential building, and they forecast more to come. So they didn't have anything to do with it, but they're saying that they forecast more to come. But and so this is the direct quote from the Ukrainian presidential advisor, and he said, "Of course, we are pleased to watch and predict an increase in the number of attacks, but of course, we have nothing directly to do with this." Okay, sure you don't. So Russian lawmakers then went on to caution that there would be probably more attacks in inside of Russia and specifically Moscow, which would obviously push the hand of some things. I mean, we've seen Putin already mention and his aides talk about using nuclear weapons on Ukraine. I think that's kind of what he's saying without saying it. That he would use even greater powers, he quotes, right? I can read between the lines. I'm sure you can too. But just last week we had American vehicles be used on assault inside of Russian borders. And, America has been very serious about not using American weaponry inside of Russian borders. Ukraine denies doing it. Well, who's doing it then? Who's sending the drones and who's doing these things, right? But, in my opinion, what we have here is that, NATO's trying to speed up. It's not a theory. Actually, let me show you. So Ukraine is renewing a push for NATO membership, and NATO is considering it. And you may be like, why would that be? Well, there's a few reasons. Trust me, Lockheed Martin and Halliburton's are dying for this to happen because they want Ukraine to get into NATO, so that way we can have direct conflict, more money. We've been at war since 9/11, right? And they had a money train coming in for 20 years, billions of dollars, getting rich. They want war. And it stopped, right, with the Afghanistan withdrawal. So Ukraine and Russia currently are somewhat keeping, the pockets lined, but it's not enough. These are greedy people, and the politicians that have stock options that's being lobbied by these weapons manufacturers, they also want to make more money, right? And they'll put the pin on their jacket at Congress hearings and this that, but what they really care about is their bank accounts. In my opinion, what I think going forward, we will always be at war until it's the end, because they want money. They had a cash cow from 9/11 on, and they don't want to lose it. Because typically in Democrat ran eras, they did budget cuts on the military. So now, what are they doing? Oh, well, we have another war to go. Fund. So that's what this is all about. It's just like investing in big pharma. We've seen the big pharma. Trust me, big pharma is not going anywhere. And if anything, it's going to get worse. It's kind of like, they're not going to lose money. And we talked about like some of the other things they're doing. They made billions off the hokey pokeys, but now they're pushing to take over other things like NMN we talk about, and other drugs that they can market, coming up with new things because it's a cash cow and anything they can regulate, right? That's why school systems are pushing for more pokes, and that's what we see happening here. But it's just kind of like investing in BlackRock and Vanguard, the owners of pretty much all of these things, or the investors, management companies, whatever lie you want to call it, but they don't lose money. Go look at the stocks. They don't ever lose money. You may be losing money, but they're not going to lose money. And just like Mike Collins said, yes, of course, man, it's the military industrial complex. Exactly. And yeah, let's get it. So, then let's not forget this conspiracy theory, or CNN called a conspiracy theory. And conspiracy theories turn out to be true every 6 months. You just got to wait the time. And of course it did. After months of denial, U.S. admits to running Ukraine biolabs. Actually, 46 biolabs were in Ukraine. But how many times did you see Congress, politicians, the media saying you were a freaking right-wing nut job for saying that? It turned out to be true. Something I also thought was hilarious. I don't have the article, but Lindsey Graham, my state senator, has an arrest warrant that's been issued out for him from Russia. So Russia wants to arrest him because apparently there's a video that was released that made it appear that he was celebrating the fact that the United States were spending money on killing Russians in Ukraine. So they're out for his arrest, right? So anyway, let's get to the serious topic: China, America. A lot of things are cooking, and China actually declined or rejected the request to meet with our defense chiefs. Apparently, this was a planned meeting between Lloyd Austin and Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu, and they were going to meet and I guess have some dialogue. And this apparently is the annual security forum that they meet in actually Singapore from Friday to Sunday. Well, China said pretty much, no, we're not meeting with you guys because the hostilities are there, guys. The hostilities are there. And so overnight, the PRC, or People's Republic of China, informed the U.S. that they would decline to meet. And the Pentagon said in a statement using abbreviation of People's Republic of China, PRC, that remember, China has been providing weapons, to Russia. And they're also pissed because they want Taiwan. So we know that they're providing weapons to Russia. To what extent, we don't really know, but we've made threats to them about the type of weaponry. And China said they don't care. They'll pretty much do whatever they want. If America wants to send weaponry to Ukraine, then they'll send money or weapons to Russia. I mean, they have strong ties, guys. They have very serious alliance, and pretty much it's the whole anti-NATO alliance is happening right now, and BRICS, which is now they're having talks with Saudi Arabia. Now, this is a big deal right here. We're talking economic destruction of America. We have Saudi Arabia that is in talks with joining and become the 9th member of BRICS. So this move is aimed to strengthen the bank funding options, right? So, and if you don't know, Saudi Arabia is the world's second largest oil producer, which would solidify, BRICS and the kingdom. So they would literally, almost overnight destroy the dollar. Okay. And that's their attempt. China's made no secret at that. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do everything in their and they're trying to use every possible uh, tactic they can to destabilize us. And going along with that, they're even going as far as pumping out fentanyl pills here and shipping them to the U.S. 7 Chinese companies, along with 3 Mexican companies, were sanctioned for providing fentanyl pills and shipping them to the U.S. This is just another destabilization tactic used by China. They're doing tons of work, tons of work. Their number one goal is to shut us out. I don't really see much more happening to stop it because of our administration so weak, and they know it. The whole world knows it. Afghanistan withdrawal proved it, right? But don't worry. Tony Stark actually went over there. Elon Musk actually went over to China to try to save the day. I don't know if you heard about this. He actually went over there and met with Chinese foreign minister, to call for mutual respect in U.S. relations. I don't really know what Elon Musk is doing. I don't have a clue. He's all over the place. It's from Twitter to, he seems like he's doing the right thing. And, now he's talking about putting Neuralink in your skull. FDA just got FDA approval. It's mind boggling what gets FDA approved, guys. Like the drug semaglutide. That's the FDA approved drug for weight loss. And what it does is it eats muscle. So essentially you lose muscle, retain the fat you have. So you're actually more obese with it. You're unhealthier with it, but you've just lost poundage. That's FDA approved, along with a ton of other things. But they approved the FDA approved human trials for Neuralink. So they're going to be putting these chips in people's skulls. That sounds biblical, doesn't it? Anyway, so Elon, Ron Keller asked a great question before I go forward. Where are the antibiotics going to come from once we go to war? Exactly. Great question, because they all come from China, just like most everything you own. Very few things don't. Maybe some handmade goods from here in America, but almost everything you own. I'm telling you right now, we go to war with China, your life as you know it will almost stop in its tracks. Okay. And, people want to buy American and this and that, but in the reality, the majority, 90% of everything you own is made in Chinese or some Chinese conglomerate. And that's the way it is. So Elon actually has a factory in China, a Tesla factory. So, he's obviously going to go over there and look at it. And while he was there, he wanted to go meet with some, high level people over there, Chinese foreign minister. And, the Chinese foreign minister told Elon that he strained that they must require mutual respect from America. And what he means by that is obviously to recognize that China is a superpower and that they should get Taiwan. But, he said this. So he said these quotes, this Chinese foreign minister. He says, we need to keep the steering wheel. And he tells us to Elon, we need to keep the steering wheel in the right direction of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and a win-win cooperation. His name is Qi Gang. And so he also said that the two sides should avoid dangerous driving. He he didn't give any details on how to improve it or anything like that. It was just these analogies that he gave Tony Stark here, but it was a lot of driving analogies. I guess because Elon Musk is the owner of Tesla. I don't know, but it's I just thought that part was funny. But anyway, so he went over there to try to save the day, right? Obviously, nothing happened other than China is basically telling Elon that we need our respect. We need our respect. But then we had this. This actually happened. It just came out, but it happened Friday. A Chinese jet carried out an aggressive maneuver in front of a U.S. military plane. Now they didn't really want to tell you what kind of plane it was, but we're gonna talk about it. So I'm gonna play the video. There's no sound, so I'll do a talk over of it. So what we got is the Chinese jet flying by here on the side. I guess one of the pilots is filming with his iPhone, and this is a J-16 jet fighter. Okay, and it flew directly in front of the American plane here over international airspace over South China Sea. Okay, this forced the U.S. plane to fly right through the fighter jet's wake. Turbulence. So what that does is causing the aircraft to shake. You'll kind of see it as it goes through the turbulence. But this plane, this pilot's in right here, is a RC-135, which is a reconnaissance aircraft. So it's taking recon, video surveillance, photographs for making maps and things like that. But a recon plane, and so the U.S. says that they don't believe that this Chinese fighter pilot acted independently. Of course not. I mean, do you have to say that? Like he didn't just come up here. I'm just going to fly in front. No, he was obviously directed to do this to torment the American military, which they've been doing. They've been tormenting Taiwan for what, 2 years? I remember the first video I did about this was 2 years ago. And they've been flying into the airspace, stuff like that, and they're going to continue to do it. They're going to get more bold. They're flying spy balloons over. They're shooting lasers over Hawaii. Right? Do you think at all this would have happened under Donald Trump? Right? No, not a chance. Not a freaking chance this would happen under Donald Trump. Like, as American people, we have to recognize the absolute weakened state of our military, our country, the division pushed by the media. People want to say Donald Trump pushed the division. He was a hothead, but he did not push division. The media, who pumped out narratives, did that, right? Who owns the media companies? Oh, it turns out the Bilderberg Group and the Trilateral Commission. Well, who's invested in those? BlackRock and Vanguard. We're going to get into this deep dive into this week, guys. I always say that I'm black pilled. I think you'll be black pilled after some videos we do this, or we plan to do this week, that you're going to be awakened by a lot more after the rabbit holes we've been down. Now, this is the thing. A lot of this stuff has been talked about for 30 years. Some people are aware of it. Most aren't, right? And it's good to fight the fights that's in front of you, such as Bud Light. Bud Light had one of the worst Memorial Days in their history. Modelo, which is a Mexican beer, Modelo Especial, outsold Bud Light the Memorial Day, right? And that's never happened. Bud Light sitting on the shelves. They're falling apart. Target's falling apart. And we're going to get to why Fox News is falling apart. We're going to get to why these companies are going on these suicide missions, because these are suicide missions, right? But it's great to fight these fights. It's great to cancel these companies, right? Because a lot of times, just like the wars, just like the stock options, these folks are all about money. Now, the high level guys, they have all the money. And with that amount of money is a lot of power. And you're going to see why and connect the dots on a lot of these things, right? But understand this is that these folks will not take their foot off the pedal. It's going to keep going forward. There's not going to ever decrease in war. It's only going to be more, right? And like we talked about last week about joining the military. I know a lot of young guys hit me up all the time about they're wanting to join the military. I encourage you to follow whatever passion you have in life. Would I personally do it? Not a chance. I would not go fight for the Halliburtons, the Lockheed Martins, the Dan Crenshaws, the folks that are making money, the folks that are invested in it. These politicians aren't sending their kids to war, right? So, but with that, like I always say, you have to be very prepared, prepare your family, prepare yourselves, get your things in order, and just be squared away to protect and because nobody's coming to save you, right? No one's coming to save you. Anyhow, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I do appreciate you guys hanging out. Don't forget about our pack knife. Stainless steel. We have a few left in stock. These are going very fast, so make sure that you go scoop some up. But great to have. They're affordable, so you can throw some in a couple of your packs. Just to have a quality knife in case, in different places. Instead of having a $200 knife in one place, you can have a bunch of budget knives spread out. One in your vehicle, one in your purse. You can use this defensive blade if you need to. Rubberized grip, so wet conditions as a drain hole. So in case you need to use it in an amphibious environment, you can do that. And you never know where the fight goes, so be prepared for all of them. Anyhow, guys, thanks for tuning in. And as always, remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous. Let me know your thoughts below. I want to know about everything. Help me fight the communist algorithms as well, right? Give me a like and comment, please. And as always, thanks for watching.